You are not going to believe what is going on down there on Capitol Hill. It is absolute chaos. It is a circus, and frankly, it is a disgrace to the people of this country who get up every morning, put on their boots, and go to work to feed their families, because while you are doing your job, the House of Representatives, under the leadership, if you can even call it that, of MAGA Mike Johnson, has completely fallen apart. They have packed up their bags, they have shut down the session, and they have gone home because they literally cannot figure out how to keep the lights on and do the basic business of the American people. Welcome back to Bell with Bounce. I am your host, Joe Biden. Now, before we get into the thick of this mess, and it is a mess, I need you to do something for me. Seriously, I need you to hit that subscribe button, ring the bell, do whatever it takes to stay connected, because the mainstream press, they might not tell you the whole story. They might treat this like a game, but this is not a game. This is your government, and we need to keep the light of truth shining on it, so please join us. Here's the deal, folks. I spent 36 years in the United States Senate. I was the vice president for 8 years. I've been the president. I know how this place is supposed to work. I know how the legislative branch is designed to function. It is designed to debate. It is designed to deliberate. It is designed to compromise. That's the dirty word these days, compromise. But it's how you get things done in a democracy. You give a little, you get a little, and you move the ball forward for the American people. But what we are seeing right now with this MAGA crowd, with Speaker Johnson, is something I have never seen in all my years in Washington. It is a complete abdication of duty. They can't control their own caucus. They have these extreme elements, these folks who look at the government not as a tool to help people, but as the enemy. And they are holding the whole show hostage. Mike Johnson, he seems like a nice guy. Maybe, I don't know him that well, but he is completely beholden to the most extreme voices in his party. The Marjorie Taylor Greenes, the Matt Gaetzes, well, he's gone now, but his spirit is still there, the Freedom Caucus. They are running the show. And because they can't agree on anything, because they would rather burn the house down than fix the plumbing, they have shut down the session, just walked away. Can you imagine if you did that? Can you imagine if you were working on an assembly line or driving a truck or teaching a classroom full of kids and you just decided, you know what, we can't agree on lunch, so we're just going to shut the whole factory down and go home? You'd be fired. You'd be out on the street. But these folks, they get paid by you, the taxpayer, to create chaos. It's malarkey. It really is. It's pure, unadulterated malarkey. Let's look at the history here. The Speaker of the House is supposed to be a leader. Tip O'Neill, Nancy Pelosi, even guys I disagreed with, like John Boehner or Paul Ryan, they understood that at the end of the day, the government has to function. You have to pass appropriations bills. You have to fund the military. You have to make sure the Social Security checks go out. But this group, they don't care about that. They care about clicks. They care about getting on Fox News. They care about their social media following. And Mike Johnson, bless his heart, he is trying to herd cats. But these aren't just cats. These are tigers. These are wild animals who smell weakness. And every time he tries to bring a bill to the floor, every time he tries to do something reasonable, they threaten to throw him out. They have that motion to vacate hanging over his head like a sword of Damocles. And so he freezes. He paralyzes the institution. And the result is that nothing gets done. Absolutely nothing. And look, the world is watching. Xi Jinping is watching. Putin is watching. They are looking at us and they are saying, see, democracy doesn't work. America is in decline. They can't even keep their own parliament open. It weakens us. It weakens our standing on the global stage. When I go to the G7, when I meet with NATO leaders, they pull me aside and they ask, Joe, is everything okay? What is going on in Congress? And I have to tell them, look, this is a passing phase. The American people are better than this, and I believe that. I really do. But it is getting harder to convince them when they see the House of Representatives shut down in the middle of the day because the Speaker can't count the votes. I remember when I first got to the Senate back in '73, we had guys like Mike Mansfield. We had guys like Bob Dole. We fought like hell. We disagreed on everything from taxes to foreign policy, but we respected the institution. We respected the process. If we had a disagreement, we stayed in the room until we fixed it. We didn't take our ball and go home. My father used to say, Joey, a job is about a lot more than a paycheck. It's about your dignity. It's about respect. Well, where is the dignity in this? Where is the respect for the voters? When you shut down the session because you are afraid of your own members, you are disrespecting the millions of people who sent you there. And let's be clear about who is driving this train. It is the MAGA wing. It is the Make America Great Again crowd that Donald Trump controls. And make no mistake, he is controlling it. He is on the phone. He is telling them Don't give Biden a win. Don't pass this bill. Don't fix the border. He would rather run on a problem than solve a problem. Think about that. He would rather see the country fail so he can blame me than see the country succeed and share the credit. That is sick. That is not patriotism. That is narcissism. And Mike Johnson is caught in the middle. He is trying to please a man who cannot be pleased. He is trying to satisfy a base that wants to tear it all down. And in the process, he is breaking the House of Representatives. You know, the Constitution, Article 1, it gives Congress the power of the purse. It gives them the power to declare war. It gives them the power to regulate commerce. It is the first branch of government for a reason. The founders, Madison, Hamilton, they put it first because it is supposed to be the people's voice. But right now, the people's voice is being strangled by a minority of extremists. And I mean a minority. Most of the Republicans in the House, I talk to them, they want to get things done. They want to pass a farm bill. They want to fund the Highway Trust Fund. But they are terrified. They are terrified of being primaried. They are terrified of the mean tweets. So they keep their heads down and they let the crazies drive the bus. And the bus is driving right off a cliff. Shutting down the session, that is the parliamentary equivalent of a temper tantrum. It is saying, we can't get our way, so nobody gets anything. It is childish, and it is dangerous. Because we have real problems to solve. We have an economy that is growing. Yes, wages are up. Inflation is coming down. We created 15 million jobs, but people are still hurting. Costs are still too high. We need to work on housing. We need to work on health care. We need to secure the border, which, by the way, we had a bipartisan deal to do, the toughest border security bill in history, and Trump killed it. He told Johnson to kill it, and Johnson said, yes, sir. And now they can't even keep the House open to discuss it. It breaks my heart, folks. It really does. I love this country. I have given my life to serving this country, and to see the institutions that have protected our liberty for 250 years being treated like a playground for political stunts, it makes me angry. Not for me. I'm a big boy. I can take the heat. But for you, for the people who need a government that works, you deserve better than this. You deserve a Congress that shows up. You deserve a speaker who leads. And right now, you are not getting it. You are getting performance art. You are getting theater, and it is bad theater at that. And let me tell you, if this continues, if we can't get back to regular order, if we can't get back to a place where we can disagree without being disagreeable, then we are in big trouble. The guardrails of democracy are holding, but they are shaking. You can hear the bolts rattling. And it is up to us, all of us, to tighten them back up. We have to demand accountability. We have to say no more. We have to say that shutting down the government or shutting down the House session is not an acceptable way to do business. And think about the message this sends to our children. I look at my grandkids. I want them to look at Washington and see people trying to do the right thing. I want them to see role models. But when they turn on the TV and they see shouting and name-calling and people walking out of the chamber because they are mad, what does that teach them? It teaches them that bullying works. It teaches them that cooperation is for suckers. We have to be better than that. America is better than that. We are the United States of America. There is nothing, absolutely nothing beyond our capacity if we do it together. But we have to do it together. We can't do it if half the team refuses to take the field. We can't do it if the quarterback, the speaker, is afraid to call a play because his own offensive line is going to tackle him. That is what is happening. Mike Johnson is getting tackled by his own team, and the American people are losing the game. I want to talk a bit about the why. Why are they doing this? Some of it is ideology. They truly believe that government is the problem, so if they stop government from working, they are winning. They have this idea, this twisted idea, that if they destroy the institutions, something better will magically rise from the ashes. But history tells us that is not true. When you destroy institutions, you get chaos. You get autocracy. You get the rule of the strong over the weak. That is not the American way. The American way is the rule of law. It is the Constitution. It is the Bill of Rights. And these things require a functioning legislature to protect them. Without Congress, the president has too much power, or the courts have too much power. The balance is lost. And these MAGA Republicans, they claim to love the Constitution. They carry it around in their pockets, but they don't seem to read it. Or if they do, they only read the parts they like. They skip over the parts about promote the general welfare. They skip over the parts about ensure domestic tranquility. Shutting down the House does not ensure domestic tranquility. It creates domestic chaos. And look at the specific issues that are falling through the cracks. Disaster relief. We have folks in Florida, in North Carolina, and Hawaii who have lost everything to storms and fires. They are waiting for help. They are waiting for Congress to pass the supplemental aid packages. And what is the House doing? They are going home. They are leaving town. Imagine being a family that just lost their home, and you see on the news that Congress has decided to take a break because they can't get along. It is insulting. It is a dereliction of duty. We have allies in Ukraine fighting for their lives against a dictator, fighting for their freedom, and we promised them we would stand with them. But we can't get the aid to them because the House is paralyzed. It is costing lives, real human lives, because Mike Johnson can't control his caucus, because he is afraid of Marjorie Taylor Greene. It is pathetic. I don't use that word lightly, but it is pathetic. My father used to say, "Joey, don't tell me what you value. Show me your budget, and I'll tell you what you value." Well, these guys can't even pass a budget. They can't even agree on the basic numbers. They want to cut Social Security. They want to cut Medicare. They won't say it out loud, but that is what their proposals do. And because the Senate, where we have a Democratic majority and where even the Republicans are more reasonable, won't agree to those cuts, the House Republicans just throw a tantrum. They hold their breath until they turn blue. But the country can't afford for them to hold their breath. The country needs to breathe. The country needs to move. We have so much potential. We are leading the world in innovation. We are bringing manufacturing back to America. We are rebuilding our infrastructure. But we need a partner in Congress. I can't do it alone. The executive branch can't do it alone. We need the legislative branch to step up. And right now they are stepping out. And let's be honest about the politics of this. This is all about November. They think that if they create enough chaos, you will blame me. They think that if the government looks broken, voters will say, well, Biden is the president. It must be his fault. They are counting on you not paying attention to the details. They are counting on you not seeing that it is their dysfunction, their infighting, their refusal to compromise that is causing the problem. They are betting on cynicism. I am betting on hope. I am betting on the American people being smart enough to see through the smoke and mirrors. I am betting that you know the difference between a builder and a wrecker. I am a builder. I have spent my whole life building things, legislation, coalitions, relationships. These guys, they are wreckers. They have a sledgehammer, and they are looking for something to smash. And Mike Johnson handed them the sledgehammer when he gave them the power to vacate the chair. He made a deal with the devil to get the gavel, and now the devil is coming to collect. He gave away his power before he even started, and now he is surprised that he has no power. Come on, man. It reminds me of a story. Back when I was a county councilman in Newcastle County, Delaware, we had some disagreements, we had some late nights, but we never shut the place down. We knew that the trash had to be picked up. We knew the police had to be paid. We knew the libraries had to be open. It was basic governance. And if a county council can figure that out, why can't the United States House of Representatives? Why is it so hard for them to do the bare minimum? Because they have lost their way. They have forgotten who they work for. They think they work for the donors or the base or the cable news hosts, but they work for you. And right now, they are failing you. They are failing you big time. And I want to talk about the MAGA label. I don't use it to describe all Republicans. I have many Republican friends. I worked with Mitch McConnell to pass the infrastructure bill. I worked with Republicans to pass the CHIPS and Science Act. There are good people in the party, but the MAGA element, the extremists, they are different. They don't believe in the system. They don't believe in the verdict of the ballot box. They don't believe in the peaceful transfer of power. We saw that on January 6th, and we are seeing the slow motion version of it now. Instead of storming the Capitol with flagpoles, they are storming it with procedural obstruction. They are grinding the gears of democracy to a halt. It is a different kind of violence, political violence against the institutions. And the victim is the American dream. The victim is the idea that we can govern ourselves. When I ran for president, I said we were in a battle for the soul of the nation. Some people thought I was being hyperbolic. They thought it was just a campaign slogan. But look around. Look at what is happening in the House. Is this the soul of America? Is this who we are? A paralyzed, angry, dysfunctional mess? I don't think so. I refuse to believe that. The soul of America is resilient. It is optimistic. It is capable. We cured polio. We went to the moon. We defeated fascism. We can certainly keep the government open. We can certainly pass a budget, but we need leaders who are willing to stand up to the bullies. Mike Johnson needs to decide, is he the Speaker of the House for the whole country, or is he the Speaker for the Freedom Caucus? He can't be both. He has to choose. And if he chooses the extremists, he will go down in history as one of the most ineffective speakers of all time. But if he chooses to work across the aisle, if he chooses to put the country first, he might lose his job, yes. The crazies might fire him, but he would keep his dignity, and he would serve the nation. That is the choice. It is a choice between power and patriotism. And sadly, too many people in Washington choose power every time. But I haven't lost hope. I really haven't. Because I travel the country. I was in Wisconsin the other day. I was in Pennsylvania. I meet the steel workers. I meet the teachers. I meet the nurses. They aren't like the people in Congress. They are decent. They work hard. They help their neighbors. They don't ask if you are a Democrat or a Republican before they help you change a flat tire. They just help. That is the real America. And that is the America I fight for every day. And eventually, Washington has to catch up to the rest of the country. Eventually, the fever will break. But until then, we have to be vigilant. We have to call this out. We have to say, this is not normal, because it isn't. It is abnormal. It is weird. It is destructive. So when you see the headlines about the House shutting down, don't just shake your head and turn the page. Get mad. Get active. Call your representative. Tell them you want them to do their job. Tell them you want them to stop the games and start solving problems. Democracy is not a spectator sport. It requires you to be on the field. It requires you to make your voice heard. Because if you don't, the loudmouths will fill the void. The extremists will take over. And we can't let that happen. We just can't. Think about the sheer waste of taxpayer money. Every day the House is in session, it costs millions of dollars. Staff salaries, security, electricity, maintenance, and when they shut down early, when they produce nothing, that is your money being flushed down the drain. It is fiscal irresponsibility of the highest order. The same people who complain about the national debt are the ones wasting the most money by refusing to govern. The irony would be funny if it wasn't so serious. They lecture us about balancing the checkbook, but they can't even balance their own calendar. They can't even schedule a vote because they don't know if they will win or lose. It is amateur hour, and the stakes are too high for amateurs. We are dealing with nuclear proliferation. We are dealing with climate change. We are dealing with AI, serious issues that require serious people. And instead, we have a clown car. I remember talking to my mom, Catherine Eugenia Finnegan Biden. She used to say, "Joey, nobody is better than you, but you are no better than anybody else." That is the American creed. We are all equals. But the MAGA crowd acts like they are better than everyone else, like they have the only truth, like if you disagree with them, you are a traitor. That is un-American. In America, we debate, we argue, but we don't treat our opponents as enemies. We are all Americans. We all want the same things: a safe home, a good job, a bright future for our kids. We just disagree on how to get there. But we can't even have the discussion if the House is shut down. We can't even start the conversation if the Speaker throws in the towel. So, folks, here is the bottom line. MAGA Mike Johnson can't control the House. He has lost the plot, the session is shut down, and the country is left waiting for leadership, waiting for sanity. But we aren't going to wait forever. November is coming. And in November, you have the power to change the channel. You have the power to fire the people who refuse to do their jobs. You have the power to hire people who actually want to work. That is the beauty of our system. It is self-correcting, but it only corrects if you participate. So don't get discouraged. Don't get cynical. Get organized. Get ready, because we are going to fix this. We are going to restore the soul of this nation. We are going to make Congress work again. I promise you that. I give you my word as a Biden. And until then, keep the faith. Every time I walk out of the White House, I see the Marines standing there. I fly on Air Force One. I see the dedication of our military. I see the dedication of our civil servants. The system is full of good people. It is just the leadership in the House that is broken. And we can fix that. We have to fix that. Because the alternative is unthinkable. The alternative is a government that ceases to function, a democracy that ceases to deliver, and a nation that loses its way. And I am not going to let that happen on my watch. Not now. Not ever. Thank you for listening. Thank you for caring. And God bless you all. May God protect our troops. Keep the faith, folks. We're going to get through this. Just watch. America always does.